Breaking news, guys. The closing date has been announced for Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, and the Liberty Square Riverboat. We're reading this from WWNT. Last day of operation for all these offerings will be, Vash, July 6th. We are going to close out 4th of July weekend by removing Americana from the Magic Kingdom.
So I've been furiously getting up links in the background in the lead up to this story right here, because we just have to cover this. This is unbelievably important news right here. The heart of Magic Kingdom will be removed. Marvin brilliantly pointed out there, starting July 7th. And it is
that has got to be intentional. That they are celebrating the birth of America by removing American history from Walt Disney World. That is disgusting.
It's absolutely wild. I mean, this is such a brain dead decision. This is such a bad decision. And look, we've been kind of keeping track of the happenings around the area, not Rivers of America specifically, but the laydown yards, for example. A lot of the stuff that these permits that have been filed by the Walt Disney Company through SIFTOT have illustrated and pointed out that certain areas around there will be used to facilitate this this reimagining, let's say. And they've been setting up construction equipment. They've been setting up materials. They've been setting up all this stuff. So, I mean, it was only a matter of time before we actually got the date. And honestly, it's way earlier than even I expected. I thought, hey, maybe we get at least one more summer season before something dramatic occurs. And unfortunately, that's not at all the case. We also have some operational news that we're relaying to you here for the first time. This by Scott Houston. New: the Walt Disney World Railroad's full circuit route around Magic Kingdom will temporarily pause at the end of the day on July 6th. Beginning July 7th, the train will operate only between Main Street and Fantasyland. The first full circuit route resumes when Villains Land opens. That's a long time, folks. I mean, who knows when we're going to get Villains Land? That is that's way down the line. Maybe 4 years, 5 years. When the train is operating in shuttle mode from Main Street to Fantasyland, Disneyland will rotate some of the benches on the train to face backwards while the train operates back and forth. So that's what's going on there. We have a slew of also information that Disney has released accompanying this news. And you can see right here, the Cars Rally Race attraction Frontierland will be set in Piston Peak National Park, a new area inspired by the Rocky Mountains. The attraction features characters from the world of cars driving off the beaten path in pursuit of the fastest lap in the West. You can kind of see this new piece of concept art that Disney has provided.
Boo.
If you were hopeful that the design and the elements featured within were going to be different than that earlier piece of concept art that they released for this, think again, folks. This is what we're getting right here. Well,
that's what they say we're getting. By the way, this is also exactly a month after they're shuttering Muppet Vision 3D. So this is just the summer of nonsense at Walt Disney World. But halfway through building this monstrosity, they're going to, they're going to change course, and we're going to get a fraction of this.
I believe so. I actually look at the concept art that they've released here and see if it's at all changed from their initial piece of concept art that they were released. By the way, very sneakily after D23, the event that showcased both this Cars Land and this Villains Land, not the expensive Rivers of America, but when they first debuted these concepts, when they released that concept artwork, it was like 2 days following that announcement, after everybody had left that D23 event showcasing these new concepts. Then did they ever say, oh, well, we're losing Rivers of America in order to provide you this? And it's just really, really unfortunate. We'll have to see what the differences are and all of that, because perhaps maybe this has been value engineered already. Scott Houston continues: Piston Peak National Park was featured in Planes Fire and Rescue, but it was shown as a combination of Yosemite and Yellowstone. The Walt Disney World version will be heavily influenced by the Rocky Mountains, complete with snow-capped peaks, rivers, and geysers. So, hey, Piston Peak, the inspiration, Planes. That's what we're going to replace Rivers of America with.
On 4th of July weekend. We're closing it on. That is the thing that really hits. 4th of July weekend. That's when this is happening. Now, we've already seen, Disney decorates more for Pride than it does for the 4th of July. I saw the bunting that they have at Magic Kingdom just last week for Memorial Day, and I was disgusted by it because it's not even the right shade of blue. It looks like it's red, white, and black.
Yeah, it's previously in years past they would have been so particular with those details in order to get those right, especially when it came to big holidays like 4th of July. Unfortunately, we just don't see that anymore. I mean, Marvin, for the last 3 years or so, Disneyland has not had 4th of July bunting for its Main Street or various areas of Disneyland Park. I think
Because
they do put up
because they don't want to celebrate America, because stories matter and all this other nonsense. I honestly think that the red, white, and blue bunting they have on Main Street right now is that color specifically because they want people to look at it and not immediately think of the United States, which is disgusting. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure, but that was what I thought when I saw, because Old Glory blue is the blue that you're supposed to put on the American flag. It's a very specific type of blue, and the bunting is such a dark navy blue that when you stand far away from it, it looks black.
Yeah. You would think that they would be a little bit more mindful, and perhaps they are, but in the opposite direction, as Marvin so beautifully pointed out. I wouldn't doubt it at this point. I mean, it's so demonstrable that when it comes to Old Glory, when it comes to the United States flag, when it comes to any patriotism whatsoever, Disney has really leaned away from that. Now they do showcase other holidays and other new traditions and other different let's say symbols and so forth, but not the U.S. flag, and that's really, really sad. Yeah, exactly. Jim T, is Liberty Square next? It might be.
I think so. I think within the next 5 years, we get an announcement that Liberty Square is being changed into Haunted Square. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Over at the, and I don't remember for what it was 4 years ago, but I'm pretty sure that the Biden Hall of Presidents had already opened by now. I might be wrong on that. But there is no sign that the Hall of Presidents is reopening anytime soon. The Hall of Presidents still has a sign outside that just says "Closed for renovations," not the normal "Closed to welcome our new president." We are, you see right here. This is just recently we took this video, I believe, and
right.
You're looking at the Hall of Presidents, and there's that bunting. See how that red, white, and black?
Yeah.
Tell me that's not red, white, and black.
It is very dark. It is very dark. It really should be a lighter shade, especially as it contrasts with the blue on the Hall of Presidents itself.
And which is Old Glory blue, which there's the American flag right there also, which you could see the difference. But look at, here it is. Here it is, closed for refurbishment, not to welcome our new president. Now there is a thing among leftists, Vash. I don't know if you know this, and not to get too deep into the political weeds, but there's this common belief that a house with an American flag on it, it's like, oh, that must be a Trump supporter. That must be so the American flag is now seen as repugnant or repellent by people on the left, which is just maybe the most horrific thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, yeah, it's the patriotic iconography has been associated, at least by a particular group of people, with one could say Trump or MAGA or whatever, but it's more of like a nationalistic pride with a kind of dark underbelly or undertone, and that could possibly be why Disney is kind of leaning away from that, while also championing other iconography and symbols without getting too in the weeds right there. It's really unfortunate because Disney used to lean into this stuff pretty good, especially when we see like Rivers of America, for example, right? When we see Main Street, I mean, it's still so baked into these theme parks.
Because Walt loved this stuff.
This
is Walt. This is Walt's influence. He was as they say in the Carousel of Progress, he was about as American as a person could get.
Oh yes, yeah, very, very American. So, and he was part of a couple of groups and so forth that really prided itself on really leaning into traditional American values and so forth. I think there's a quote from him that says, "Hey, look, listen, if you were to tear up my spine right now, you'd see that there was a red, white, and blue stripe right down there." I mean, he was so into it. And for the company just to lean away from it in the way that they have is so sad.
But you know what? Like, and look, maybe I'm seeing things with the bunting. Maybe other people look at that and see blue. But to my eye, maybe I might just be, a little too hyper aware of what's going on here, or maybe like making assumptions. But I'm sorry, it's not Old Glory blue. It's not, it's not the right shade of blue that would normally make you think of Americana and the American flag. It's not. And now here we are, 4th of July weekend.
Goodbye, 4th of July weekend.
Goodbye, American history. Goodbye. Goodbye, Tom Sawyer. Goodbye, Huckleberry Finn. Goodbye, Mark Twain. Hello, ka-chow.
Yeah, ka-chow indeed. We're going to have a lot more coverage on this, folks. This literally just broke like during the show, and I've been scrambling to get more information of it. We're probably going to have a little bit more coverage on T3PO this afternoon, so you can go ahead and join us for
as well.
Pro show for sure, and we're going to have a coverage of this and more. I want to get an Extra Magic Hours scheduled here on Friday. We're going to see if that's going to take place. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Marvin, or anybody else at that Park Place Network. This is my kind of intention to have an Extra Magic Hours showcasing not just Rivers of America. Now we're going to include that for sure, but also to the Muppets. Remember the Muppets. Oh yeah, it closes this weekend, so I think it's really, really important to showcase these stories and more this very transformational time at Walt Disney World.
Clifflix for $5 says Burbank has posted the closing day of the Rivers of America, July 7th. I still can't believe this is actually happening. Yeah, we're right there with you, Clifflix. It is unbelievable. So, the last day being July 6th, they're letting you have one more 4th of July weekend and then yanking it out from underneath you, because 4th of July, I believe, is a Friday this year. So, unbelievable. Dragon Queen for $5 says what you're getting is 5-mile-per-hour cars that won't work right and will be shut down in the rain, much like another attraction they worked on. That is very true, Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, goodness gracious. I have no idea how this is going to deal with weather and everything else. I mean, cars in Cars Land, or Rage Springs Racers, I should say, Disney California Adventure, it can't operate in the rain. I'm hopeful that this has a little bit more operational uptime when it comes to weather and so forth. That's a dramatic occurrence and regular occurrence in Florida, but we'll see.
James All Day for $5 says, after the news about Rivers of America, I think people will now stop giving this company money. You would think, James, but people love to give Disney their money, and Disney, when people stop giving them their money, they just raise the prices so that the people that will give them money no matter what will pay more, and then it doesn't offset their revenue as much. Disney is so big that I don't think it's going to ever, it's not possible for it to go bankrupt. They have so many things that they could sell off to kind of put them back on the right track that, and Krista Joe for $9.99 says, did you notice this Cars Land looks like the Grizzly River in Disney California Adventure? Bet they're going to try to bring that Halloween Villains trail and overlay to Magic Kingdom with Villains Land next door, DCA Oogie Boogie in Florida now. I could see that.
Oh, yes. Villains Grove is actually extremely popular, and the only way you can actually see it is via Oogie Boogie Bash over there at Disney California Adventure. They actually do it up quite nice, so that could be a possibility, especially for Mickey's Not So Scary. That would be kind of cool. But again, what are we losing it for? We're losing it for
bingo.
Yeah, Rivers of America. It's just not good.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.